This is an ABP Life podcast.
Hello.
Thank you for calling. I call psychosocial helpline. Your call will be answered by a counselor shortly. आपका कॉल जल्द ही एक काउंसलर द्वारा उठाया जाएगा.
Your call will be answered by a counselor shortly.
(9152987821). This is the suicide helpline number in the country. This is the first number that pops up on Google when you search for suicide. I call on this number today to do a little research on the pattern of calls they receive. But guess what happened? No one answered. It's just a dummy number that claims to be a helpline number. I held on to the line for 3 minutes until it automatically got disconnected. What a shame. According to a 2019 report by World Health Organization, India has the highest rate of suicides in Southeast Asian region. According to the National Crime Records Bureau, deaths by suicide increased in India by 7.2% in 2021 compared to 2020. The Health Ministry has said in a recent report that in the last 3 years, the rate of suicide has increased from 10.2% to 11.3% per 1 lakh people. Now that's a huge number and also a huge jump. And it's something that the government should take seriously. And since you all heard the response from the suicide helpline number, we all know how serious the administration actually is, right? But on the brighter side, the Health Ministry has rolled out a new strategy known as National Suicide Prevention Strategy. According to the Union Health Ministry report, this country accounts for almost 1 lakh suicidal deaths every year, which is why a framework to control suicides in India is the need of the hour. But what exactly is the National Suicide Prevention Strategy? And what does the Union Health Ministry report say on suicides? Let's decode all of this today. So welcome to Clear Cut, only on ABP Live podcasts. This is your newsman Rudrashish, and today let's talk about the National Suicide Prevention Strategy. So let's get started. Now, I think almost everyone has hit rock bottom in their life at least once. When it feels like everything's over, there's nothing more left to do. When we feel like there's no more will left in us to live, no motivation to live. Honestly, I've been in this situation quite a few times in my life, for various reasons. Now, in this situation, some people talk to their friends, their family members about it. They take medical help. They go to a psychiatrist, all of which I did. And today, I think I'm in a much better place than before. And that's only because I reached out to people. But on the other hand, many people don't have anybody to talk to. They bury it inside them, and the mental stress, the mental pain grows until it becomes unbearable, until it becomes too much to handle. Now, according to the report by the Union Health Ministry, men account for the highest number of suicides in India at 71%, followed by females at 29%. Now, we all know that a common problem in everyone's life is money. And according to the ministry's report, 63.3% of the people who committed suicide earned less than rupees 1 lakh per annum, followed by 32% who earned between rupees 1 lakh and 5 lakhs per annum. On the other hand, 3.8% of suicides were committed by people who earned between rupees 5 to 10 lakhs per annum, and 1% suicides were reported for those people who earned more than rupees 10 lakhs. Now, if we talk about the age that the report has highlighted, then around 65% of suicides takes place between youth and aged adults in the age group of 18 to 45. Now, According to the National Crime Records Bureau, a total of 1.64 lakh people have died by suicide in India in 2021 alone. These are some alarming stats and numbers. Now, let's come to the first of its kind National Suicide Prevention Strategy. What exactly is it? And what does it aim to achieve? So, according to the Union Health Ministry, the NSPS aims to promote mental health to prevent suicides in the coming years. The report has highlighted that through NSPS, the ministry aims to reduce suicide mortality in India by 10% by 2030. Now the question is, how are they going to achieve that? For starters, please fix your suicide helpline number. Now the NSPS has laid out a 3-plan objective. Firstly, it aims to set up psychiatric outpatient departments through the district mental health program in all the districts across the country by 2027. Secondly, it will add mental health and well-being courses in educational institutes all across the country by 2029. And lastly, it aims to set up surveillance mechanism for suicides by 2025. Another important priority of the NSPS includes reducing easy access to means of suicide, because the report has stated that the most common method of committing suicide is by hanging, followed by poisoning. Now the government has come up with a great plan. It's a step in the right direction, I would say. But it's easier said than done. I'm saying this because I know what happens when you're depressed. I know when you completely shut yourself from the world. And I know it's not easy to reach out. But believe me, suicide is not the option. Suicide is not the way out. Life will throw everything and anything at us. But that doesn't mean we have to end our life. That doesn't mean that we have to give up. For all the depressed souls out there, please reach out. Reach out to your loved ones, your friends, your family. And if you don't have anyone to reach out to, please reach out to me. I'll attach my Instagram profile link in the description. You can ping me and we can talk about you, your problems, your feelings. And you'll understand that suicide is not worth it. And now to speak further on mental health, depression and suicide, we have mental health therapist and counselor Aruba Kabir joining us on the show today.
So welcome to Clear Cut, Aruba Kabir. It's a pleasure to have you on Clear Cut.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, the government has now introduced a new strategy known as the National Suicide Prevention Strategy. How important do you think it is in this day and age?
It is very important because if we see the stress levels have really gone up, be it the unpredictability in the market, finances, relationships, the instant gratification we all are seeking, the validation. And if a person is not emotion-wise stable, it's very, it's a point where they feel, okay, I'm not good enough, I'm not providing how I'm expected, I'm not proving to be, let me take my life. And not every time a person succeeds in that, then that also becomes an issue, because then that guilt and burden, different emotions start coming in. So it's very important for us to have strategies. What is it that is pushing people towards suicide? And what can we do? If we try to, create an awareness about mental and emotional health issues, we are, for example, sent to school, taught certain things. At home also we are taught certain things, how to tie your shoelaces or grade in school or say namaste to your elders, eat your food. But we are never taught how to express ourselves, when to ask help, when is a healthy time, how to create an independence in your life. We are never taught. And then all of a sudden after 12th grade or after college, we are expected to have a balanced relationship, career, finances, make a sense of the world.
Exactly.
And
I think
it becomes very difficult for all of us.
Exactly. After that 12th standard, we take on the world on our own. And many people, including me, we mess up.
Yeah.
So I think all of us have hit rock bottom once in our lifetime. I mean, I've hit many times, and I believe all of us, most of us, have hit rock bottom at least once in their life. So that's the triggering point of depression setting in, because I've been there, I've experienced that. So how do you have any tips on how should one take on that rock bottom if something has happened, a tragedy or a loss in the love life? Do you have any tips on that?
See, first of all, I really want to tell everybody that depression does not happen overnight. It is an accumulation of your suppressed emotions and slowly starts showing then. Now, it depends on the gender also. If you are a male, you might show it in a different way by being a workaholic, a womanizer, an irritated and angry person, going for substance abuse, gambling, addiction, porn addiction, gambling addiction. And in women, it can be more isolation, withdrawal, crying, not sleeping well, or eating more. Because end of the day, we are in a patriarchal society where kuch behaviors men's ke we allow, and for women we don't. So we can show depression. So don't just think that, oh, that person is partying or womanizing, so he cannot be in a depression. No, men show depression differently.
Exactly.
So that is why the depression does not happen overnight. And second, know your symptoms. Identify the signs if you are able to. And third thing here we have to understand is that if you are somebody who can learn strategies, techniques, coping of talking things on time. For example, when it happens, that is the time address it. Don't let it accumulate. Don't keep suppressing. नहीं अभी बात नहीं करूँगा. अरे नहीं ये तो छोटी सी बात है. अरे people will judge me. Exactly. And when we do that, then that resentment and that bitterness builds in, and then those things come that either you will go into depression or you become this person who can become avoidant, can just run away from responsibilities, from conflicts, from talk. And most important thing what I want to tell people is that we don't have to wait for bigger things to happen, that I have to lose someone in my family only then I'll be in depression. Or have an accident, lose my job, have a financial crunch. No. Kafi baar, since we have been emotionally neglected as a child, it might start showing later. Or I am not given on everyday basis, I'm not giving the love and respect I feel I deserve. It might come as a depression. Postpartum depression is something that when people have children, when they deliver babies, after that they can get into depression because a new life, they are not trained to live.
Exactly, yes.
There is prepartum depression where women are expected or a couple is expected to be happy that, they are going to have a child. But that time a lot of hormonal imbalance is happening. They don't know what their life is going to change. And rather than enjoying that pregnancy ka phase, they are just being stressed. So that can also create depression. I preparing for an exam and that exam gets postponed. So it's not a big tragedy. Pandemic hit a lot of people because the expectations were hit. Exactly. So we don't have to wait all over. What I want to say that we don't have to wait that, okay, that person can be in depression only if they have met with an accident, lost their loved one, lost their job, breakup हुआ है. अरे और फिर हम लोग अक्सर कहते भी हैं, what's so big in your life कि you are in depression? अरे what might be big to me might be small to you, and what might be big to you might be small to me, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And as you said that men and women take depression in a different way. They show their depression in a different way. And similarly, the Union Health Ministry has highlighted that men account for the most number of suicides in India. They account for 71% suicides in India compared to females who account for 29%. So why do you think there's this huge rise in the suicide of men? Just because they can't express themselves, because they are men, they are expected to hide their emotions, they are expected to be manly, macho all the time. Is that a reason?
Yes, that is one of the reasons, that men are always asked to man up, take responsibilities. You are not supposed to cry. मर्द को दर्द नहीं होता. अरे तुम कैसे आदमी हो, तुम रो क्यों रहे हो? And all these things are there. And we have to understand one thing कि जब पहले जमाना था वहाँ पे आदमी were providers and protectors and women were nurturers and nourishers. Roles were defined. Women were not working and men were working. They were bringing bread to the table and woman was cooking it. It was very defined. But now times have changed. Roles have changed. Where women are also making money. They are also independent. They are also taking other responsibilities. And somewhere it has also, kind of brought an imbalance. Men now don't know what their role is. They are lost. And nobody tells them, nobody teaches them. It is okay. If women are working, it is fine to be a house husband. It is fine to be somebody who loves cooking. It is okay to cry because roles have changed, stress has changed, but nobody prepares us for it. So that could be one thing, because men don't express, men don't talk because of the societal conditioning, parental conditioning. So that suppression definitely. Second, men have more higher risk tendencies. For example, men are, you would see mostly men would take loans, get into business easily because they have that thing in them. So suicide is a very big step where you are trying to kill yourself. Woman would still think 10 times before doing something to herself.
Exactly.
She might, but men would not, because they are used to taking bigger risks. So when they see no way out, rather than expressing or talking because society might laugh at them that you failed at it, they feel, okay, we can take this bigger step.
And that is a very wrong way that men are taking that, and they need to address. We need to address this.
I really wish how we say, for example, if I cry in a relationship, I would be accepted. But if a guy cries in a relationship, would be like, "अरे यार, ये तो बहुत कमजोर है, इसके साथ कैसे रहेंगे?"
Exactly.
So we need to create an awareness. Roles have changed. We are all trying to be equal. Feminism आ रहा है. So in that we also have to accept that, initially men had less stresses emotionally because they were not being involved. They were not expected to do anything. But now they are expected also. And on top of that, they don't know how to fulfill that role. They are not taught only.
Exactly.
So it becomes responsibility for each one of us that we cut them a slack and we tell them that, it is all right if you're not able to do certain things.
It's all right if we mess up.
Yeah, but end of the day, I would say it's up to us. For example, a man or a woman or any other gender. Until and unless we won't speak what we expect or talk, it's very difficult for the other person to understand what can I give. So expressing yourself becomes important. If you find it difficult to talk, let the other person know, I find it difficult to talk. I find it difficult to express. I feel I'm not man enough. I feel I am not providing enough. I feel I'm not protecting enough. Then only the other person can help you.
Exactly. Now, there's been an increase in the number of suicides in this country from 10.2% to 11.3%, and that's a huge jump. Now, you deal with clients who are depressed, who are suffering through depression, clinical depression. So, what kind of clients do you receive? What kind of problems do they want to address, they want to solve, they want to get out of?
It's so surprising. We all thought because of pandemic in last 2-3 years, we would be seeing more people who are having financial issues. But it is so surprising that we have been seeing more people with relationship issues. Be it relationship with their parents, with their family, with their spouse, with their girlfriend, boyfriend, boss. It is relationship issues. Relationship issues have really gone up.
Over the past years?
Domestic. Yeah, over the past 3 since pandemic has hit. Usse pehle bhi people would come, but itne relationship issues nahi aate the. They would say that social anxiety hai. How can I become better confident? But this pandemic has really changed the perspective of it, and we are seeing more and more of I have so many kid clients now because now parents are finding it hard to connect with their own children. Children are finding it hard. spouses are finding it hard to connect with each other. Adult adult people are finding it hard to connect with their old parents.
Mm-hmm.
So dynamics is totally changed. That is number one. Then second is financial issues. People with financial difficulties who might have lost jobs, who might have had financial crunches for XYZ reasons. Stock market down ho gaya. Then comes financial stresses. But the first primary reason is relationships we see. Now, because of relationship, a lot of things also get diagnosed.
Exactly.
Be it borderline personality disorder, bipolar disorder, general anxiety, depression. But basically, if a person feels I am not loved enough, supported enough, taken care of enough, all these things come.
Now, you mentioned that people with relationship issues have risen over the years. What kind of tips do you give those people, those clients of yours, who are having relationship issues with their families or their loved one, their significant other?
Having realistic expectations. Just because your parents are your parents, don't think they are responsible and they should always be there for you. Know that it's one of their roles. As a parent, it is one of their roles, but they have their individual space also. The same thing goes for the parents. Don't think your child is your property. Being your child is one of their roles, but they are a friend, they are a student, they are a boyfriend, they are a girlfriend, they are a partner. There are so many roles they have otherwise also. That is number one, having realistic expectations from people, not thinking everything is about you. Other people can also have issues and challenges. They are not able to communicate well with you. It's not always about you. Now, second thing I really tell people is, it is no one's responsibility to understand you or love you or accept you. It is no one's responsibility.
So as they say that your happiness doesn't depend on anyone.
Exactly. So if you want to get loved or love yourself, you have to start asking for it, working for it, working on yourself. You can't give anything to anybody if your own glass is empty. So work on yourself. Try to build that confidence within, that trust within. So don't think other people should come and resolve your issues. अरे उसने मेरे को बर्थडे पे विश नहीं किया. उसको बताओ तो सही आपका बर्थडे इम्पोर्टेंट है. आपने बोला ही नहीं कि मुझे बर्थडे सेलिब्रेट करना अच्छा लगता है, तो उसके लिए शायद बर्थडे सेलिब्रेट इम्पोर्टेंट नहीं है. So it is not their responsibility, and if you want something, ask for it. Third thing, मैं हमेशा बोलती हूँ, बात करने से बात बनती है. But we try to suppress it. आप बात नहीं करोगे तो कैसे पता चलेगा अगले इंसान को? So express yourself, communicate your needs. And one last thing is, work on yourself, be it physical health, be it emotional health, be it financial, sexual, any form of health. Work on it, because then only you would know what is missing. But कभी जब अपने अंदर झांक के नहीं देखोगे, how would you get to know what is missing and how would you know what you want?
Exactly.
So introspection is very important.
We should reward ourselves once in a while, because that's important. I've realized living alone in a city away from my family, I should reward myself. That will keep me happy and going.
Wonderful. That's great.
And lastly, since in this day and age, most of the millennials are depressed, and everyone's going through something or the other in their own lives. So if my friend or someone I know is depressed, is going through depression, how can I help them?
Okay. Now, I would also want to bring light to this thing, that just because I am upset, I am a little bit dull, I haven't gotten that job I wanted, or I could be feeling many other emotions. It might not be depression. Not every time मैं पिज्जा की लाइन में खड़ी रही, पिज्जा नहीं मिला, and I'm depressed. Or I lost that movie ticket, I'm depressed. It's you're upset. So try to improve your vocabulary of emotions. Anger में irritation भी है, frustration भी है, annoyance भी है, disappointment भी है, an umbrella. You get. So we try to label people just because they don't want to come for a movie, or she's depressed. Just because she said no to something, she's depressed. So first, see that it could be any other emotion you're going through. It's a phase. It might not be depression. Now, if somebody is really depressed and they are showing all the signs of depression, now how can I help them? Don't give up on them. We have a tendency of giving advices to people, unsolicited advices. मैं आपको बोलूँगी, अरे पता है मेरे साथ ऐसा, आप बोलो, अरे ये करो वो करो. पूछा क्या मैंने? नहीं पूछा. So stop doing that. When your friend or someone you know is depressed, they don't want the advice. They want to be heard, validated. So listen to them. They might be wrong. It might be totally stupid that you feel यार ऐसा कैसे सोच सकती है या सोच सकता है. But listen to them because it might be something which is bothering them. And when they get that acknowledgement, that validation, it gets easier for them to ask for an advice then or help. But if the minute the person tells me something, I start giving advices. You know, it happens very common with, it is very common with a therapist. When we go somewhere, for example, I'm in a party, I go there and people will come and try to talk to me about their issues and challenges. So I just listen to them. I don't. And this one time this person told me, so क्या करूँ? मैंने कहा अच्छा आप पूछ रहे हो, आपने बोला ही नहीं कि मुझे आपको बताना भी आपको क्या करना है. I just thought you're talking about and I'm listening to you. So let people ask for help. That would be another thing when they want it. So advice mat do, just listen to them, acknowledge them, validate them. Now another thing what you can do is like, as I said, don't give up on them. So keep them inviting. I know they said yesterday they don't want to come out. But tomorrow again, hey, we are having this party. Do you want to come? Shall I pick you up? Keep inviting. Don't just forget them. अच्छा वो तो उसकी तो आदत है नहीं आने की, रहने दो, नहीं बोलेंगे. That can push them further. So if they are your friend and you know how they have been before, now they are acting differently. So keep giving them options until they open up to you. Third thing could be you can plan some activities with them. That let's exercise together. Let's go for a walk together. Let me take you out. We sit in a cafe. Rather than saying chal drink karte hain. Rather than saying chal ghar pe baith jate hain. Try to get them out of their atmosphere. It is also a good idea. Sometimes you sit with them. That's okay. In their home, in their houses. That's fine. But mostly try to change their environment. Do some activities, hobby class. If you're a good friend, but you're staying far away, make a care package. एक care package होता है, comfort food भेज दिया उस friend को, virtual call कर लिया, maybe send a book, a good meaningful book to read, book a therapy session for them. All these things you can do for somebody who you feel is being depressed, rather than telling them what to do and what not to do.
Exactly. Well, that's a lot of wisdom for me because I take it as well because I live alone in a city away from my family, and these are very helpful. These are going to be very helpful for me as well, as you said, and for our listeners and viewers as well. So thank you so much for joining our show today and giving your precious time. It was an absolute pleasure speaking to you.
Thank you so much. And before I leave, I want all of you, and including you, to take one online assessment, which is love language.
Okay.
Know your love language. Because if you know your love language, what you like and how you would like to be communicated and respected, you can communicate to the other person. Because the other person does not know what. They will do things according to them for you, which might not be enough for you.
Okay.
Right. So take a test. It's called love languages, 5 love languages. And take the quiz, know your love language, and then communicate it to the people around you, be it your parent, be it your loved one, anybody. That will definitely strengthen the bond, strengthen the relationship, and you will start trusting yourself more.
Be more comfortable in our own skin, be more confident.
Yes, absolutely.
Exactly.
See
well,
you. Thank you so much for having me.
And thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So that's all the news and scoops I have for you today. This episode was produced by Lalit. This is your newsman Rudrashish Kanjilal signing off. Have a wonderful day ahead. Keep listening to ABP Live podcasts. And please, if you ever feel low, if you don't have anyone to talk to, reach out. That's going to solve all of your problems. Trust me.
This is an ABP Live podcast.